After this video, you will never use distinct count function again. Distinct count function was my favorite function. It was in my top 10. I used it in almost every report until I found out this. What I found out, you can read on my LinkedIn page. I have post about it and it is somewhere here. And after this, you will never use distinct count to calculate unique values. So you can read my post. You can also visit my website if you want to learn more about distinct count function. You need to go to DAX section and you need to select this article, avoid this common distinct count trap in Power BI, so you can read more about it. It's very useful. I recommend you to read it. Here you can find also examples. Everything is well explained in details. Everything is simple, so you can read it also. I will leave a link in the description of this video, but let me show you this in practical example in one of reports I built. In this real estate dashboard, one of the requirements was to calculate number of total sales. Now, how I calculate the number of total sales is by using distinct count function, because in my fact table, I have sale ID, which is unique number, and each ID shows one transaction or one sale. Now, if I use distinct count, it will sum all IDs and it will give me exact number of total sales. However, in this case, this is not true. Now, let me show you why. This is my fact table. And as you can see here, we have sale ID column. And if we select all values, all IDs, so last ID is 535 and count of ID is 535. Now, why we are seeing here 536? Okay, we wrote formula correct, distinct count sales ID, but we see one sale more than we have in our table. Now, reason for this is because distinct count also calculates blank values, and in this table we have one blank row. Let me show you, it's here. So distinct count will also take into consideration, it will also calculate blank rows, and we do not want that. So we cannot go through whole fact table or dimension table and check all IDs. I was assuming that distinct count handles only values, that it is removing blank values from calculation. However, that's not the case. Then I found out for another function which is very useful for this purpose, and that is distinct count no blank. Now let's go to Microsoft page and see what it says about this function. So we have distinct count no blank. So it applies to calculated column, tables, measure, visual calculation. So we can use it for any operation. And syntax is very simple. It is same as distinct count. We need just to provide column name within parentheses. Now, return value is number of distinct values in column, same as distinct count. Now, let's look at this section. Unlike distinct count function, distinct count no blank does not count the blank value. And that's the catch. Distinct count counts blank values, and we do not want blank values. So let's go back. And now let's change this to distinct count no blank. Press enter. And now we have correct number, 535, as in our fact table. What do you think? To be honest, I also didn't know for this function for a very long time. I found out for this function, let's say recently, when one of my stakeholders discovered that we are calculating blank values. And this is one very useful function that you need to know. And from now on, this is in my top 10 DAX functions that I'm using. And I will remove distinct count from list of my favorite functions. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe and like. See you in one of my next videos. Bye.